An American elected official saying this in the Oval Office is quietly the biggest news out of the meeting.
Mr. President, and you did a piece in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars to go towards the benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and work hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today,
I just know AIPAC is mad as hell.
those are being violated,
Oh
and that
my
continues to be work
God.
that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
Mr. President.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Dude, what is this? How happy is this guy today? MAGA for Mamdani. Bruh. Bruh. That's amazing. Let's go, Knicks. Why is he kind of dark woke? All right. So, you know what? I think we watch the Mamdani thing first. I think we watch the Mamdani. The vibes are right. I'm like, vibes are right for Mamdani. Let's go. 1's if you've seen the whole thing. 2's if you haven't. 3 if you saw like parts of it. I'm just kind of curious. Temperature check. Oh my nussy. Oh yes. I want to watch it again. Ew, stop zooming in on the nussy. What the fuck? AP. Bro, I did not appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. We've just had a great meeting, a really good, very productive meeting. We have one thing in common. We want this city of ours that we love to do very well. And I wanted to congratulate the mayor. He really ran an incredible race against, a lot of smart people, starting with the early primaries against some very tough people, very smart people. And he beat them easily. And I congratulated him. And we talked about some things in very strong common, like housing and getting housing built, and food and prices, and the price of oil is coming way down. Anything I do is going to be good for New York. If I can get prices down, it's good for New York. And we've got them down, way down from last year.
Can I just say it's so fucking funny that Cuomo ran on like, I'm the only one that could actually speak to Trump and get something for the people. Mamdani madness could never reach Donald Trump. And the only thing that's been proven so far is that Cuomo absolutely would have just fucking caved to whatever Trump wanted and would have done absolutely nothing. And Zoran actually could convince Trump of even things that Cuomo couldn't even imagine.
We have, as you know, I've been saying to a lot of people, Walmart said that Thanksgiving this year is exactly 25% less than last year. So that's good for New York, good for everybody. But I just want to...
Good for New York. There aren't even any Walmarts in New York. There's like one. What do you mean good for New York? I had to go to a different state to find a Walmart. What the hell?
Congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Please.
I appreciated the meeting with the president, and as he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City, and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home.
I'm not even joking when I say, first of all, again, I have to repeat, I was totally right about this meeting, and I was totally right about how they would be public facing on this, that Mamdani and Trump are going to be like this, because number one, Mamdani has a charisma boost. He's literally a Bard build, okay? Everyone that runs into him cannot help but fall in love with him. It's not his fault. It's not his fault he's so likable. I'm sorry. It's just who he is, okay? you guys have seen the meme where it's like, let me see this. I'm sorry for having a fat ass and thick thighs. I'm so sorry. But actually, Mamdani, I'm sorry for being so likable and having everyone fall in love with me within 5 minutes of meeting me. I'm sorry. He can't help it, okay? He just can't. He can't. It's just inherent to the Mamdani. iFunny logo spotted. Listen, okay, I was just looking for the looking for the fucking only shit that I could find, all right? That man had Trump purring in his lap. Ugh, stop, don't say that. Ugh, not in his lap. Ugh. All right, what was I trying to say? What was I trying to say? Oh, fuck. No, I had a greater point that I wanted to make, and he fucking distracted me.
Who are struggling to afford.
Oh, Trump has an eye for winners. He had already kind of hinted at being a Mamdani simp when he was like, you know, the people love him. They really do. They really love him. And he wants to attach himself to anyone who's likable. Given the fact that people fucking hate Trump right now, and every single Republican is so vile, no one wants to vote for them. No one is motivated by them. There is not, like, the only Republicans that that are getting any traction at all are the Republicans that are against Trump. Trump is desperately trying to tie himself to someone who's actually likable, and he's hoping that maybe some of Mamdani's likability will rub off onto him, which will work, by the way. There are a lot of, I don't want to call them politically homeless because that's not correct, but like politically moronic people in this country that actually think that these two people have the same opinions about politics. And so when they see this, they're like, oh, you know, I actually generally I like Trump, and it's cool that he's teaming up with Mamdani, and they want to make things more affordable. So he is increasing his likability by attaching himself to someone who is very likable.
Life in the most expensive city in the United States of America. We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president, I appreciated the conversation, I look forward to working together to deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
President Trump, Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I've got a question for you and then also one for Mayor-elect.
Sure.
For you, you referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Can you describe?
You refer to Mamdani as a communist. Can you describe why?
You feel that way? And also, will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits?
Will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question, and on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot from when I first came.
I can fix him, Mamdani. Knowing look, knowing smile. You cannot fix me. Oh no! Oh no!
To office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you, some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
Mr. Mamdani.
What I say? What I say, dude? What I say? What I say? Did you expect this? So again, I expected like part of this where it was like, listen, people like him. They voted for him. We'll see what'll happen. I expected that. Trump chases ratings. Okay, he chases ratings. He is content brained. He was an OG content creator. All right? I just didn't expect the level of glazing. Like this level of... I expected mild glazing. I expected, you know, 1 or 2 layers of glaze. I wasn't expecting 20 layers of glaze. I was... drizzle, perhaps. I wasn't expecting it to pour. Oh my God, he's a media demon? Yeah, this is like... I expected, you know... some, you know, mild. I wasn't expecting him to whip out the grapefruit. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. I didn't expect him to be like, listen, he's got some views that are pretty out there, but you know, who knows? Who knows? Listen, I've changed. Maybe he'll change. Maybe he won't. I don't know. They like him. We like him. I think a lot of people will like him. It's like, put that grapefruit away. There are children that are going to watch this.
It sounds like you've had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you would be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
Okay, this is the clip that I saw where they're asking Zoran, you called him a fascist. Or would you like take back any of these remarks to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift.
Do you know how happy it makes me to finally see a politician doing politicking, but for the people? Do you know how happy it makes me to see someone like Mamdani, who proudly will call Trump a fascist, who proudly will say, I will arrest Bibi Netanyahu, who will proudly say free buses, who will say, I will make the halal carts cheaper, who says, hey, and by the way, we talked about it already a couple days ago, but his policy on like landlords, I had a tweet sitting in my drafts for a little bit and I didn't know if it would bang or not, so I decided not to send it. But I, as someone who's lived in New York, as someone who's lived in a New York apartment with a fucking dog shit slumlord, goddamn landlord, piece of shit leech, I'm not joking when I say we had a Saddam Hussein shaped hole in our ceiling for like 6 months before it got fixed. It was person sized. It was a person sized hole. There was a leak from upstairs, so they had to replace all of that. And they went in, they cut it out, and then they were like, yeah, we'll fix it, don't worry. And they literally didn't do it for months. For months! They refused to put some fucking drywall in there. That is to say. Okay, all of that is to say. All of that is to say. Mamdani saying that the city will step in and fix these things if they don't fix them in a reasonable amount of time, which is a month, I'm pretty sure, for certain health concerns. So like I'm pretty sure, for example, mold, if you inform your property or your landlord or your management of the thing within a reasonable time period, like as soon as you find out, and then within a month they refuse to fix it, you're allowed to get the city involved. The city is allowed to fix it and then send the bill over to the complex or to the landlord, which that's always been policy, by the way. That's always been policy. And then if you refuse to fix it, they put liens on your property or they just confiscate your property. That's also just what already exists as the system. Otherwise, landlords, which they already kind of do whatever they want, they would do it even worse, even more. They would just never fix anything that breaks. So this idea that it's like communist for him to just like repeat policy that we have and say, by the way, I'm actually going to enact this stuff that this legislation that we're just sitting on that we don't do. I'm going to do that. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to actually make sure landlords fix properties. And landlords got so mad. They were like, what do you mean we have to fix our properties that people live in? This is so unfair to me. Did you consider my feelings as a leech? Did you consider that? As someone who contributes nothing to society, did you consider that? Don't even get me started. Anyways, I forgot why I got into this landlord tangent. I got here for... Oh, I forgot. No. Something about Sharia law. Something about Shakira law.
To those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting.
Dude, him saying it's not that insulting is crazy. I thought he would say, like, it's not even insulting. It's not that insulting, so it's a little insulting.
Maybe, I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please. Good.
I would like to ask you a question about the Middle East regarding
Sure.
you did said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position. And Lebanon now is the final unresolved after Gaza and Syria. Given your assessment, like what do you say for the Lebanese today? It's the independent state in Lebanon. And what is your next move to push toward disarmament?
Sure. Well, we are pushing for total disarmament of Hamas and, frankly, everybody else. And we actually have peace in the Middle East. As you know, the King of Saudi Arabia just left yesterday. We had some great meetings, and he's made a contribution toward the United States of more than $1 trillion. We have now over $20 trillion coming in. No country has ever had anything like that, not even close. If you go to 2 trillion or 1 trillion, it's a lot. We have 20 or 21 trillion dollars. I think that Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon, big problem. We're working with Lebanon. We're working with everybody in the Middle East. That's another thing I think we have in common. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and we actually have now, for the first time, peace in the Middle East after.
Sorry. For the first time, we have peace in the Middle East. Yeah, let me just go tell that to all the people that live in the Middle East. Let me just be like, guys, don't worry. There's peace now. It's peacetime now. I know that's not how you feel, but like facts don't care about your feelings.
3,000 years, and now we're going to refine it, and I think you're going to see some very positive things happen.
There is a potential to invite the Lebanese president.
Oh, sure. Oh, I would do that, absolutely. And if the mayor would like to be here for that meeting, because I know he feels very strongly. I think you feel very, very strongly about peace in the Middle East. I think
we desperately want it, and that's something that I shared with the president, that when I spoke to New Yorkers who had voted for the president last November on Hillside Avenue.
If you repeat a lie often enough, it eventually becomes Israel. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God.
And Fordham Road, I asked them why. I heard again and again two major reasons. One was that they wanted an end to forever wars. They wanted an end to the taxpayer dollars we had funding violations of human rights, and they wanted to address the cost of living crisis. And I appreciated the chance to discuss both of those things.
You said a lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that. I'll do that. I'll sign it. Give it to me. I'll sign it in a minute. That's pretty good.
Mr. President,
Yeah, please.
you threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Mamdani, you called ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
Well, I think we're going to work them out, and I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, you know, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything.
Dude, the way that Mamdani's looking at him like, good boy.
You want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success. So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there's...
Oh, who's a good hog? Oh, who's a good piggy? Oh, yes, now oink for me.
There are horrible people there. We want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it at great length. Yes.
Also, we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but the fact that he called that... It's the Trumpification of the news, where I see so much crazy shit every day that none of it means anything to me anymore. But like Trump calling that reporter a piggy, saying quiet piggy, when he looks the way that he does. Let me find the photo. The most offensive photo of all time. The most offensive comparison photo of all time. Hold. Where is it? Where is it? No, not Sydney Sweeney. No, not Yuri of the president and Bill Clinton and Putin. No, not that. Not old woman Yuri. No. Where is it? Who hid this from me? Which one of you did this? Let me just look up quiet piggy. Link side eyes. Bruh. Pig. I. Trump. I. Dude, contraband. Chill. You can't encourage that type of behavior from Ethan. Thank you for the gifts. Here we go. Here it is. I found it finally. Dude, Trump calling that reporter saying quiet piggy when this is what he looks like. And it says pig's eye versus Trump's eye. This is crazy work. What the fuck? Which one is which? This is like when you show a photo of like the edited Laura Loomer photos and then you show a photo of actually Laura Loomer and people are like, which one's the edited one?
Oh. Yeah, two questions, if I may. One for you, Mr. President, from BBC.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, sorry. This one. This is the post. Finally. Of course, once I finish the segment, the fucking post shows up. This one. Where he said this.
Quiet.
Also, I hate to say it. It did kind of give some aura. It was a little auraful. Pointing at a random reporter and saying, quiet, piggy, when you look like a pig. It's crazy. The delivery was crazy. Quiet, piggy, girl, that's you. All right.
But first of all, for the mayor-elect, you're both from different parts of the political spectrum. You're both populists, though. And I just wondered to what extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign.
Well, I actually told the president that, you know, so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New York...
I know it's a little hard to hear some of the reporters. So if you're like on mobile, maybe it's a little bit harder to hear it because I'm going based off of subtitles are saving me right now. But the reporter said like, Mamdani, how much of your campaign was inspired by Trump's campaign and like Trump's social media presence? And I'm going to say very boldly and bravely that I think candidates cannot win the way that Mamdani won unless they are willing to be as big and as bold as Trump has been. So I don't think it was inspired by Trump so much as you can't beat a big character like Trump by being meek and pathetic and capitulating. We want someone that's going to fight for us. If you're not willing to fight, then fucking go back to your hidey hole, bitch. So I think that it's not so much that like the campaign was inspired because the campaigns they were run very differently, obviously, but more so that the only candidate that could have the only candidate that could have won New York as well as Zoran won New York as the candidate that he is someone who was willing to be bold with messaging and go all the way to the left.
Who had voted for the president when we saw an increase.
I remember what I was saying earlier. It's so nice to see a politician finally on our side doing the politician thing, where when people ask politicians questions, they always avoid the question and avoid answering the questions and being like, yeah, we're going to fight any day now. The thing is, you guys need to go and vote for us next election. I know you guys just voted for us, but you need to vote for us again. Okay, and then the next, I promise, I know I've said this for the last 20 election cycles, but I promise this is going to be the one where I actually will fight for you. Okay? I promise. And it's like, dude, when are you going to stop selling me horse shit? When are you going to stop giving me these canned responses? So it's so fun to see someone like Mamdani. 1 second. Just had a great idea. Sorry, I'm planning something. Can't share it with you guys yet. But what is that chat message? Like in a wrestling ring, she's going to fight? What does that mean? Okay, sorry. Anyways, to see someone who's like hiding their positions because their positions are farther left than they want people to know. And that's why they give politician answers. So like the question is, why did you call Trump a fascist and say that the streets will run red with his blood? And he's like, well, you see, the thing is, I'm all about affordability here. You know, we got to refocus on affordability. Can we refocus here? Let's refocus on affordability. And then he just gives a big old grin and everyone's like, what were you saying, Mamdani? Yeah. Whatever you want. And it's like, yes! That like the public facing answer is center, which is what everybody wants or like is the best public messaging to have. But the actual positions are finally not right wing. The actual positions are left wing. It's like fucking finally, dude. Oh my God. It makes me so happy to see a politician doing the politician thing for the betterment of the people. I mean, that's what other politicians do. Yeah, that's my point. He just pivots to affordability and others pivot to blaming the other side. Exactly. That's my point. We're like, when he doesn't want to answer a question, he pivots to a position that's easy to defend in a way that's really clean if you're not like watching for it. Most of the time, politicians pivot because they don't want to be held accountable for the fact that they fund a genocide. He pivots because he doesn't want to share how left-wing he is, because he wants his messaging to stay on affordability. It's like, fucking yes! Thank you! Oh my God, I'm so happy. It makes me so fucking happy to see this shit. So anyways, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense with all of you guys or for all of you. I don't know if what I said made sense to everyone.
In his numbers in New York City that came back to the same issue, cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of Con Ed, the cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focus on that same cost of living. And that's where I am really looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to work a little bit on getting the prices because, you know, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them. You know, if we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering their rates.
Absolutely.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates on those issues?
Well, we get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK. I like him. He's a fine person. And, you know, I think they have some big energy problems. You know, they've got windmills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control. Talking about in the UK, it's out of control. And he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know, and he's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
You had a chance to speak this week.
I haven't spoken this week.
So glad we're back on windmills, dude. We're 2016, we're so back.
President Zelensky, do you intend to
Who?
meet President Zelensky about your plan? Are you going to meet with him?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker. But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. Yeah, we have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it. Just so sad, so many people. You know, last month they lost 25,000 soldiers. This is something, we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War.
Looking up to Zoran for approval. Am I doing a good job?
They're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them, dead soldiers. And it goes on and on. And I think they're getting reasonably close. But I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries, including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead. And we worked something out on that, but so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, you know, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people that really, it's on the other side of the ocean. It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk. This is a war that should have never happened, and it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25, think of that, 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian, and it's a shame.
What happens if President? I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand.
Wait. Sorry. I want to hear that again. Hold up. Wait. I got to close my window. It's so cold in here.
I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism, including with 86 Democrats, all of House Dem leadership, and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions.
What's your reaction to the fact that the Democrats are fucking morons?
Frankly, I've been focusing...
Condemn socialism.
I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken...
Sorry, before we get to this part, because this part is so good. Holy shit. They literally called Nancy Pelosi a communist. Dems are stupid. This is the point that people have been trying to make to Democrats for the longest period of time. If they're going to call everyone that even remotely resembles a Democrat a goddamn communist, who gives a shit? Why should you even care what these people have to say if they're just calling literally anyone and everyone a communist? You should be like, well, I don't really care about that. I don't really spend my time thinking about that shit. I'm just trying to make the world better. All right, moving on. Next question. Who cares? You like the fact that they give it any power, the fact that they give the word socialism or communism any power at all has been this is why people think that the Democrats are controlled opposition. All right, back to this. So do you reaffirm that Trump is a fascist?
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you mean the interviewer asked, are you affirming that you think Trump is a fascist? And then Trump looks up lovingly at Mamdani and says, that's okay. You can call me a fascist, sweetie. Oh, honey buns. You can call me that. It's okay. It's okay when you do it. I just know JD Vance is like balding right now. Like he is balding. You know, his eyeliner is running. He is committing domestic abuse on his couch right now. I just know that he is because he had to fucking apologize for calling Trump a fascist and calling him like Hitler or whatever. And meanwhile, Trump is like, that's okay, sweetheart. You can call me that. It's okay. Oh, it's all right. I don't mind. Oh, you have such pinchable little cheeks. You're good. You're good.
It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not going to lie. I like saw some of the news online and I was like, let's just fire off a tweet. Let's just do a little fire. Let's just fire off a quick little tweet. I did not expect people to like this tweet, but it's this image. It's a screenshot of like Trump looking up at Mamdani. Get you someone that looks at you the way that Trump looks at Mamdani. And I was like, let's just fire off a little tweet. Let's just for the real ones that are up late at night. Late at night, it's 3:16 p.m. Bro wants to give him the Bubba special. Bro wants to give him the Bubba Gulp. What do you mean I tweeted this before having seen all of it in its entirety, just having seen clips because I didn't want to pre-watch. I wanted to raw dog it with you guys. And then that's exactly what happened. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I insta-like that one. Everyone liked this. What do you mean?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say...
Oh, God, it feels so good to be a leftist and to win. It feels so good to be a leftist and be right. Oh, my God, dude. What did I do to deserve such an amazing clip? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So that thing... So all of that stuff about fascism, calling people fascist, hate speak, he just killed it. Dude, I love how Republicans have been clear on messaging that, like, if you call us fascists, we're going to be fascist and it's so mean to us. Don't call us fascists. And then Trump just said, effectively, none of that matters. Who gives a shit? My favorite part about this are the seething reporters that Trump actively defends Zoran against. I know.
Affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And Mr. President, I wanted to ask you also.
It's okay to call me a fascist. Lovingly pats him on the arm. Oh my God. Oh my God.
About this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said today that his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal...
You mean he doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of...
Well, he'll have to like it. And if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess,
The suggestion that he made, though, was that if he doesn't accept it, that the U.S. would pull back its support for Ukraine.
Well, at some point he's going to have to accept something. He hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office not so long ago, I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. I would have never, this war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago, 2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done, too, if you had the right president. But you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on.
Right.
Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of that past. And what we found time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics, so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. Mamdani.
You know, we had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, you know, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under the Biden administration. And we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something in a bit?
Old-fashioned word, groceries. Such an ancient word. Bro, to have been a fly on the wall to listen in on their private conversation, I know. Oh my God. But then again, I feel like most of the conversation was just like, right? So I don't know how much there was to listen to.
Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. He doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it can be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with?
No, I don't know. Would you want to respond?
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about, and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
We were with ICE. We were with ICE.
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for.
I feel like the conversation was like when I explained socialism to my anti-socialist grandma, and she was like, well, okay, I didn't realize we agree so much. Well, I mean, this is literally Medicare, polling that shows Americans hate Medicare for all until you explain to them what Medicare for all is. Hey, do you want Medicare for all? No, fuck you. I don't want that. You're a disgusting fucking commie piece of shit. Die. Okay, would you want a healthcare plan that costs less for the average taxpayer? We would end up collectively as a country paying less by a lot because, you know, collective bargaining is so powerful. You can keep the doctors that you like, any doctors, you can keep all of them, and everything becomes affordable. Well, of course I would like that. Yes, I would love that. So would you like Medicare for all? Fuck you! I literally fucking hate you and I want you to die. How could you ever consider suggesting Medicare for all to me? It's like, okay. Okay.
For New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
What we did is we discussed crime, more than ICE per se. We discussed crime, and he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime, and I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Mamdani, the anti-Israel protesters.
Jack?
Mr. President, I want to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I also noticed that in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people in general, and so I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so...
What did I say? A politician finally doing the politician for the betterment of the people. Yeah, well, what about how much you hate white people? You fucking hate white. How could you do that? How could you talk about how much you hate white people? Yeah, so about affordability. Yes. Yes. Fuck you, Jack.
Inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another wait that we see in our
But to
city.
be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Yes. Yes. I mean, you have to understand, Jack, piece of shit, is a total hack. I mean, fucking tweeting out, really just can't believe Charlie isn't coming back. 2 days ago. What did you think he was? Jesus? We Are Charlie Kirk song, play it? No, no.
Please, God.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city?
Dude, I'm so tired of this line of questioning of like, aren't you worried about the Jewish people in New York City who aren't going to feel safe now that there's an evil Muslim, an evil one of these people in power? It's like, you're one step away from just calling him a fucking towelhead. You're like, literally, you're this close. Oh my God. They voted for him. They literally voted for him.
President Trump, you threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen.
We don't want good money going after bad. We don't want that to happen.
That's going to happen. I did say that, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime. He wants to see
nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Housing being built. He wants to see rents coming down, all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, Dame de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback.
This is like, this is what Mamdani should do every time someone says, well, aren't you concerned that Jewish people fucking hate you because you're Arab and a Muslim? Well, sorry, he's not Arab. He's Muslim. To them, there's no difference. He's brown. Not south of the border brown, but the other brown. He's South Asian. You just tactically deploy Trump to ramble on your behalf. Well, aren't you worried that everyone thinks you're an anti-Semitic piece of shit, Mamdani? Let me let Trump speak for me. It can only good happen. Nothing bad can happen. It was a tremendous setback for many, many years. And we're telling you all now, it's going to be good. It's going to be very good.
The city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President,
Okay, how about you? Go ahead, please.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. He may have different views.
We have to go back. I'm sorry.
I would. I really.
Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially.
I just know Fox News right now is just in total shambles. Like, they don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, even the New York Post. The New York Post has been completely deflated and credible. They wrote, Trump bulldozes socialist Zoe with kindness and Freaky Friday off Oval Office Summit. I heart you, Mom. This is such crazy cope. Trump bulldozes socialist Zoe with kindness. Uh-huh. Bulldozes with kindness is crazy, Cope. Meanwhile, the actual conversation. Would you be okay? Would you feel safe living in Mamdani's New York City? Would you feel safe? Trump, yeah, I would. I think it'd be dope, actually. Yeah, I would love to live there.
To the meeting, absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
What makes you comfortable? We actually agree on a lot.
I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. You know, he may have different views, but in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs.
Dude, I just know that Cuomo is punching the air right now. He's so, and establishment Dems are just punching the air right now. They're so fucking mad. They're like, we literally, the entire reason we run these establishment Democrats and that it works even a little bit is because we get to say, well, we get to talk to the people across the aisle. And if you're too extreme, you won't be able to do it. And then when someone too extreme, and the extreme in question, by the way, is free buses and rent freezes. That's and free childcare. Also, as everyone also already knows, free just means it's paid with taxpayer dollars, which means we just reappropriate funds. Oh, and publicly owned grocery stores, which again, we just reappropriate the funds that we're already using on this shit elsewhere for private companies and put it towards publicly funded companies or publicly funded grocery stores or whatever. Those are the extreme ideas that would save taxpayers a fuck ton of money. Fast and free buses, you're basically just Stalin. You're basically just Stalin. What was I saying?
When he was very successful on getting ripped off in trade.
Oh, Trump was saying that he got a lot of Bernie Sanders votes. It's like, that's because the Bernie Sanders and the Mamdanis of the world, they have their own value systems, so you have to work around those value systems. Whereas you can't ever respect someone like Cuck Schumer because you know you can just, like, literally actually bulldoze over them. And they wouldn't say where, they'd be like, oh, could you move? Could you bulldoze me harder, actually? I actually really love the feeling of being flattened. I actually really appreciate this.
And lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought.